Hey y'all, and welcome back to another review with Life of Chess. This is for Beyond the Gate, Season 1, Episode 70, June 10th, 2025, y'all. Okay, y'all, so first things first, let me know your thoughts on today's new episode down below. I think the highlights or what stood out to me this episode was the fact that Anita, Sharon, and Tracy all decided that they're not only going to do the reunion concert, excuse me, they're not only going to do the reunion concert, but they're also going to work on their friendship as well. And I wasn't expecting her to say she was going to Chicago though. Do y'all think we're gonna get a scene where they? Cause I was like, wait a minute now, is she leaving the show? Cause they been steady talking about all this cast changes and how they changing the cast, they replacing people and all that. I said no. I said no. Once you go messing with stuff, that's when it start to go downhill. But yeah, it's been a whole lot of talk. They said Smitty was leaving, but then the guy that played Smitty said that he wasn't leaving. He don't know where that rumor came from. So I'm like, okay, with Anita and them leaving to go to Chicago, are we going to get a scene where they supposedly in Chicago training? Because they leaving to train or practice and stuff like that. She was telling Vernon at the end of the episode how she wanted to get back to her roots and stuff or whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm wondering, is she actually going off the show temporarily, or is they just saying they're finna get ready to film? But yeah, so okay, on today's episode, that was the first thing. Was it something else? I was about to say, I had wrote at the top of the page. I said, looks like Danny finally starting to open up to Andre, but then she don't sit up here and start talking about Bill again. And I said, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Then Ashley was looking, so I'm assuming she heard Danny said that she wanted that rain check on going to offer jeans or whatever. But yeah, so who we gonna start with? Andre and Danny and Vernon. So they was still in bed. They was in bed together or whatever. And she over here, she started talking about Bill. I was like, I don't think he's supposed to. I said, Daddy don't care, does she? I said, I don't think he's supposed to be laying in bed with another man talking about another man. And Andre just sitting up there. He looked like he was bothered, but at the same time, he wasn't bothered enough for me. He wasn't bothered enough for me. I know they just sleeping together, or what they call it, a situationship or whatever, but at the same time, I was like, how can you not sit there and I said the wrong. How can you not feel some type of way? But yeah, she laying in bed with Andre, reminiscing on Bill. I said, he ain't do something right. I said, he ain't do it right if you over here talking about another man. But now then she ends up telling him, she know, and he know that he good at what he do. But it's just she just stuck on Bill right now. I had just wrote at the top of my page. I said, look like she finally starting to open up to Andre. Then he was holding her hand or whatever, and then she pulled it back, and I said, one step forward, two steps back. But yeah, then they was just talking about that, talking about Bill and the fact that she was worried and stuff like that. I think was that then when she said that she had to go to the hospital to check on Bill, and he said he had to go to the hospital to drop off the footage from when he was doing that documentary and stuff. So then they talk about riding. Did they ever say they was gonna ride together? I don't know if they actually rode together or not. But yeah, Vernon had came and he was looking for her. She was like, Daddy. And then they was rushing trying to put their clothes on, stuff like that. But by that time, Jacob had called Vernon and said that Naomi needed him. Because she was struggling. She was blaming herself for Bill's stroke and everything. Who we got next? Chelsea and Madison. She's flirting hard than the mug. Y'all see that? Oh, this the comments on? I don't know. It look like the comments not on. I don't think I can edit it while I'm on here though. I said she flirting hard than a mug, but it looked like the lady finally giving her a chance or whatever. But she was recording her. She was on live stream just saying, talking about being adopted at a young age and stuff like that. They end up having a scene together later. Did they agree to meet up? Look, I be paying attention, but I don't be paying attention like that. Let me check and see. Did they end up? Let's see. I didn't write it down if they actually agreed to meet up, whatever. But yeah, she was flirting hard in the mud with that lady, and she finally seemed like she's opening up to her and stuff like that. I don't know if there's a reason why. People saying she a reporter. Somebody said that somebody else hired her and stuff like that, but we'll see down the line. Who else we got? Bill and Ashley, he was working already. He gonna allow her working the stuff, and she closed it. She was just trying to help him. He ended up dropping something. He tried to get it, and he ended up falling. So she tried to help, and then when Haley walked in or whatever, she was looking at stuff, and then Bill, I think Ashley was the one that said it's not what it looked like, and Bill talking about yes it is. It's exactly what it is. And then he was just playing or whatever, so she could go have him released and stuff like that. But it didn't work. It didn't work. But they had a moment. Haley and Bill, where he was touching her stomach and stuff. And I was like, do y'all think? Well, I can ask y'all, but y'all can't come in because I forgot to turn on the comments. But I'm about to say, do y'all think she's actually pregnant? People finally starting to say, they don't think she's pregnant either. I said, well, she ain't now. She gonna be. She definitely gonna be. Not to mention the fact that Bill was telling Naomi that it's time to start working on his will. I said, yeah. I said, I was saying at first that Haley had poisoned him or something, but they said he had a stroke, y'all. It was verified. He did have a stroke, but don't look like he got much damage. He has to do physical therapy and everything. And Shanice is going to be the one. Shanice is going to be the one to help him with the physical therapy. I had seen, before I watched the episode, I was on YouTube, and I watched the video that they released. Somebody was in the comments and they said that they think that Shanice and Bill gonna end up being involved. And I said, well, it won't be the first time something like this happened, but I don't know. How would y'all feel about that? I do think that eventually they gonna give Shanice a love interest. I don't know if it's gonna be Bill or what, but we'll see. What else? What else? Vernon, Anita, Tracy, Sharon. Is that everybody? Yeah. So Anita and Vernon was just talking at first. They was talking about the reunion and stuff like that. She was reminiscing. She had this box or whatever. And that photo, wasn't it the same photo? Was it the same photo? People are speculating that that don't mean that, that's June. That June is Barbara, but it could mean that that's her daughter. But yeah, that was the same photo. Remember how June left that photo in the chair? And if I'm not mistaken, either Naomi, well, obviously it was Naomi or either Jacob who picked up the photo and said she had left a photo or whatever. But yeah, they gone. They going to Chicago. I don't know if they gonna film it or not. But yeah, they supposed to be going to Chicago to practice and everything. Vernon and Anita decided that they wanted to go check on Danny because they knew she was going through it because Bill in the hospital. So on their way out, that's when they run into Tracy and Sharon. And Anita was still saying how she ain't got nothing to say or whatever. And Tracy was like, I heard both of y'all talk. Now y'all finna hear me talk. That's when Vernon ends up leaving because he was going to check on Danny still. But they had a nice conversation. They was reminiscing. They had that photo where it was the four of them. They was talking about Barbara and stuff like that. And Tracy was just saying how basically, hold on, wait, let me make sure. Tracy was saying there has been enough fighting and she tired of it, and she was saying how she ready for all of them to get back along and stuff like that. They ended up agreeing to work on their friendship as well as do the concert or whatever. Let me make sure. Let me check because y'all know sometimes I be forgetting. Let me see. Let me make sure. Let me scan this. Hold on. Let me see. I said the ladies reminiscing agreed to try a friendship and a reunion concert. I think that's all I wrote down for them. Aside from Tracy saying that there's been enough, arguing and stuff like that. She was saying how she put up with them for a long time. And now she's just ready to fix things. But like I said, they ended with them going to Chicago to practice, getting back to their roots. That's what Anita told Vernon, and they were just talking about how to tell the family. Let's see who else we got. Let's see. Why I wrote Anita twice? I don't know. Naomi and Jacob, he was asking if she was going to check on Bill, and she was like, no, she's not going there. She's going to work on her work. She going to work on her work. she got a job to do and stuff like that. So that's when he ends up calling Vernon. Vernon came and they got to talking. She was blaming herself because she was like, she noticed the signs, but she didn't do nothing about it. She didn't actually, take him to the hospital or anything like that. Basically telling her a story about how, did he say his uncle or somebody he was connected to went through the same thing, but it looked like they got it worse than Bill though. Based on what he was saying, they had it worse. So it looked like strokes affect people differently or whatever. Some people, they said the side of their face is affected. They not able to walk and stuff like that. But Bill, they did say he has to have physical therapy if you just coming in, and Shanice's going to be the one that he does physical therapy with. What else? Let's see. Bill and Haley, they was talking. That was the scene where he was touching her belly because she said something about she gonna take. I think she was taking the laptop or something, and she was like she gonna get him some parenting books because Naomi and them not. Did she say they not old enough to have kids? I said, how old is they? I said they look old enough to me. Is that what she said? Or she said something about grandkids. I don't know what she said. But she said she was gonna get him some parenting books or whatever, and that's when he started touching her belly and stuff like that. And he asked her how she was doing, how she holding up or whatever, and they were just having a moment. Then next thing you know, here come Danny, and she's like basically telling them she wasn't coming there to stir up nothing. She was just checking on him or whatever. Then she still acting like she's still the wife. She over here talking to the doctors and stuff like that. And then Haley what did Haley said something to her because she said she was checking to see about physical therapy and stuff like that. I was like, I understand they was married a long time and they got married at a young age or whatever, and just because people stop caring about you don't mean you stop caring about them. So I get it. Because a lot of people are saying they don't understand how she still cares. You don't, your heart don't just turn off. I mean, for some people, maybe it never turned on. Who knows at this point? I was like, yeah, people pretend. People can pretend like, oh, I don't care no more and all that, but you care. You care. But yeah. What else? Andre and Ashley. So he came there. He was like, he went to the lady or the man or somebody's office to drop off the video or whatever, and they wasn't there. So he trusts her to leave it with him. I ain't said that right. She's the only one he trusts, so he left. He was leaving it with her or whatever, and they was just talking. What was they talking about? Let me scan these notes to make sure. Let me see if I even wrote anything down. Andre and Ashley talk about if the hospital requested to see the footage because of Leslie. Oh yeah, that's what they was talking about. Whether or not they requested the footage to see about Leslie, because you know they investigating her and stuff like that, and they want to see if they pick up on anything. I said, this point in the age, like if y'all ain't call her, if y'all don't have enough evidence by now, y'all ain't gonna never have no evidence. Y'all just gonna have to get her when she do something else, cause it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time, cause after all that, they should have enough evidence. Well, I don't think they found the bag and stuff, not the bag, the helmet and stuff yet, but we'll see. I always say that, don't I? Who else we got? I already said that Danny and Andre ended up going to Orphans, and they was talking, and she was saying how, I didn't say that part. She said she was afraid that she was gonna hurt him, how Bill hurt her. Hold on, let me see. Andre and Danny at Orphans, he was trying to hold her hand, she pulled back. They was talking about Bill. And once again, she was just saying how she don't want to hurt him, how Bill hurt her and stuff like that. And Andre, I don't know with Andre. I really don't know. Because the majority of the time, I think he want Ashley. Then next thing you know, he really be expressing how he feels with Danny. He was saying how he don't like to see her hurt and he want to help her and stuff like that. And she, like I said, it was kind of seemed like she finally starting to, feel something for him or whatever. But at the same time, every time they have a conversation, it leads to Bill. And I was like, oh my goodness, come on now. Oh, I forgot a part. Bill ended up thanking Danny for stopping by to check on him or whatever. Did I say that Ashley saw Danny when they got on the elevator because she wanted the rain check to Orphans? She waited till they got on the elevator, then she looked back. So I'm assuming she heard or whatever. I was like, yeah, go and expose your true feelings because we all know you want them. We all know. Naomi, Jacob, Haley, Bill. So Naomi and Jacob ended up coming, and that's when she was just checking on her daddy. Naomi was checking on her daddy or whatever. I forgot somebody. She was checking on her daddy, and Jacob told Haley, like, come on, let's go so, they can have privacy or whatever. She's like, are you kicking me out of my own husband's hospital room? I was like, she'd be acting like she got to be attached to his hip sometimes. I was like, he can't have no private moment with his daughter. I mean, I don't know. She thinking she gonna try to say something about her mama and them, but I don't think so. But I was like, she act like she got to be attached to him at the hip or something. But yeah, she finally ended up leaving, and that's when they got to talking. She tried to give him some pudding or something, and then Shanice came in there so fast. I was like, you better hurry up. You better hurry up and get that. You better hurry up, take a bite or something. As soon as she came in, she got it from him and told him it's gonna be none of that. He looking all mad and stuff. But yeah, people are speculating already that they finna get ready to have them be involved or whatever. But we'll see. Let me scan these notes to make sure I cover everything, because it was the last name, y'all. Let's see. Bill dumped her. Oh, how I forget that part? Danny said something in her said she want Andre, but when Bill dumped her, something in her broke. I said, girl, I understand, or whatever. What else? Let's see. Andre and Ashley. Bill has to do physical therapy. Bill thinks. Bill talks to Naomi. Oh, we already mentioned about the will. He said they have to work on his will or whatever. I see he finna get ready to put Haley in the doggone baby that may or may not be real in the will. What else? Chelsea ends up asking Madison if Bill would make a full recovery, and she was just giving her the best chances and stuff like that. Let's see. I think that's everything. Yep, that's it, y'all. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces, have a great rest of the day and be safe.